Welcome back to another fun-filled show. I'm your host. He is Blanchard, aka Free Blanche, aka Blanche Stradamus, aka Blanchy Kruger, aka Christopher Colum Blanche. Listen, y'all. Today's title is "Please Do Something: A Plea to White America." It's getting out of hand, and I figured this would happen. Once Trump got into office, part of the collateral damage of Trump being in office is Black people losing their mind. And we knew that Black folks were going to lose their mind because 88% of Black people voted for Kamala Harris. So the last 5 years of what we've been through has made Black people none the wiser. Specifically talking about Moderna and Pfizer. Yes, cyber dreams. I'm going to address it. Oh, I like that, Rick. Blanchezilla. I like that. I got a new one. Blanchezilla. I like that. I'm coming through and I'm crushing all the buildings. Blanchezilla. Anyway, yeah, we got to do something. Dear white people, I'm talking to you all, those of you that have some sense. You got to reclaim America. It's getting out of hand, people. Black people are they're losing their mind. I'll show you what I mean. I'll show you what I mean. Hold on. I'll show you what I mean. I will show you what I mean. Please let me have this video. Please, 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 please. Thank you. Goodness, thank you.
I just wanted to answer your question. Who killed who or whatnot. Cal Rittenhouse was 17 years old, white boy that murdered two or three Black kids in Michigan during a protest. He was acquitted on all charges.
I'm gonna replay this back.
I just wanted to answer your question. Who killed who or whatnot. Cal Rittenhouse was 17 years old, white boy that murdered two or three Black kids in Michigan during a protest. He was acquitted on all charges. Jordan Penny, I think that's his name. He choked out that Black homeless man on a train in New York recently, was also acquitted of charges. So
remember what I told you all, that when Black people are talking, people assume they're telling the truth. So Black people have had the privilege for the past 100+ years to be able to speak somewhere and people believe it. I talk about Black people being the people of influence. It's a real thing. Black people are the people of influence. That's why you're used. They're not using you because you're special. Everybody has gifts from God. It's just that you all's gift come with the heaviest toll because you all have the influence. This young lady just said something that was absolutely and completely false. Nobody on the panel corrected her. All of these people on this panel have a large social media following. This panel has a large social media following. So that means all these Black people are listening to these people and nobody's going to fact check what she said. This is how dangerous it is, dear white people, for you all to be taking a back seat to Black people. Because now you have Black people as a voice and people believe them. Do you understand how dangerous it is to know the facts about Kyle Rittenhouse's case? And for this woman to get on here and just tell a lie and nobody say nothing? I'm going to play it again and I'm going to comment.
One thing, I just want to answer your question. Who killed who or whatnot. Cal Rittenhouse was 17 years old, white boy that murdered two or three black kids in Michigan during a protest. He was acquitted on all charges.
When I tell you she got everything wrong about the case except being found innocent. First of all, it took place in Wisconsin. It's dangerous, people. I know y'all don't think it's dangerous, but it's dangerous that black people have a voice, and most of the time they're wrong. Shooting 3 men in Kenosha, Wisconsin, 2 fatally. So you mean to tell me all she had to do was Google? I just wanted to see how fast it came up. It literally, when you click Kyle Rittenhouse, it pops immediately. I just want to show you how easy it was for her to get that information. Now, one or two things. Either she's lying or she doesn't know. But I'm going to tell you, either way, it's the same. If you're lying, then you're wicked and evil. And if you don't know and you're speaking, you're still wicked and evil. This case is how many years old, and she still doesn't know the truth about it? That means she's never looked it up. Think about that. She's been talking about Kyle Rittenhouse all this time and never looked it up. And think about this, y'all. No one has corrected her. No one has corrected her. Now, I don't believe that this young lady doesn't know the truth. I believe she's lying. But the issue is that there are multiple people on this platform, even Anton Daniels. There's 9 people on this platform, and not one person corrected her. That means out of these 9 people who call themselves thought leaders, who claim to be well-versed, who claim to be knowledgeable, who claim to know what's going on, not one person corrected this woman who told a bold-faced lie. Not only did he not kill black people, he killed white people. Not only did Kyle Rittenhouse not kill black people, he killed white people. And I'm going to say this again. The one guy was chasing him, said, "I'm going to kill you." Kyle Rittenhouse ran until he got cornered. The guy tried to grab his gun and he shot him. Because if he let the guy grab his gun, the guy would have shot him. Now, this same guy that he shot, the first guy, black folks were out there protesting for him, didn't even realize that guy was a convicted child molester. He was a convicted child molester messing with children from the ages of 5 to 11, and black people were out there protesting for him. A convicted child molester. Then when Kyle Rittenhouse ran to the street, a guy started beating him with a skateboard. So he's on the ground getting beat with a skateboard. He shoots that guy. Another guy pulls a gun out, and this guy again, he testified and said, "I was going to shoot him." Kyle Rittenhouse shot him in the arm. That's the Kyle Rittenhouse case. Now, black folks have come and said, well, he shouldn't have been there. He wasn't able to carry a gun. All that's false. And this is what I'm telling you all, that the character of black people is not on a level to where you can even engage with them. They're going to lie. They're going to lie. And when I first said that, everybody told me, Blanche, everybody lies. This was what everybody told me. I said, yeah, but the difference is when everybody else lies, nobody believes them. They believe black people. So I'm going to start it over. I'm going to play it.
One thing, I just wanted to answer your question. Who killed who or whatnot. Cal Rittenhouse was 17 years old, white boy that murdered two or three black kids in Michigan during a protest. He was acquitted on all charges. Jordan Penny, I think that's his name. He choked out that black homeless man on a train in New York recently. Was also acquitted of charges. So I
No,
guess
that's
what
neither one of those was killed. Stop.
you know, but he was pointing out like why there could be. I know you don't think it's true, but there could be like a sense of white power supremacy in this country because sometimes when white people do certain crimes, they're not held to the same extent as black people or other people do. And so you were asking him to give names. I gave you two, and one was actually the same age as the guy, the black boy that just killed the white guy, and he was acquitted of all his charges. He was also a 17-year-old white boy in Wisconsin.
Happens all the time.
And it's like, well, why was he acquitted when he actually murdered someone? You all are saying that
because they didn't murder anybody.
They did though. What do you mean?
No,
Cal
they didn't.
Rittenhouse definitely murdered 2 or 3 people. Are you familiar with the story?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so you can't just make that statement then because
So
you're not.
Absolutely.
This girl had the audacity to say, are you familiar with the story? Do you understand how egregious this is? This woman just said, are you familiar with the story, as if she isn't lying. It's just insane. And the majority of black people listening to her are going to believe her. 99% are going to believe her because they don't know. Black people get their information from CNN, the Shade Room, or another misinformed black person. That is where 99% of black folks' information comes from. CNN, the Shade Room, or another misinformed black person. Those are the 3 sources. They're not going to pray about it. The Holy Spirit's not going to reveal it. They're not going to fast. None of that. They go on to CNN, the Shade Room, or some other misinformed black person.
Yeah, because if the court of law determined that they was acquitted of the charges, then that means that he's not a murderer.
No, that means that the system worked in his favor based on who he was, because that wouldn't have worked.
You can't just automatically say somebody is when they not, when they got tried in the court of law.
And the law is always fair, right? And the law is always fair, right?
Absolutely it is in this situation.
I'm gonna tap 100%. out. I'm done now.
Because if the evidence is showing that he's not guilty, then why would I say that he's not guilty?
You are not going to find a more misinformed and uninformed group of people than black women. Black women have no idea of what's going on in the world. They have no idea at all. Black women are, I'd venture to say that there's somebody that's like mentally handicapped or mentally disabled or low functioning, in terms of knowing what's going on. And then right above that is black women. Black women have no idea of what, and you know what's crazy? This is how you know America isn't racist. Because for black women to be this uninformed and this misinformed and still be able to function and have a great life lets you know that there's a system around them that's allowing them to do that. The average black woman doesn't know anything. And I know this sounds bad when I say it, but if you talk to the average black woman and you just peek below the surface a little bit, she tapping out. She's tapping out. I don't care if you get your I don't care what doctor, professor, educator, scientist, engineer, they don't know anything. The same thing that Pastor Manning says about black men, I say about black women too. This girl just stood up here on this show and told a bold-faced lie, and nobody corrected her. Nobody. All these folks on this panel, they're supposed to have some sense, and nobody corrected her. This is the state of Black America. This is the state. This is Black America. Completely lost in the sauce. Ms. Jackson said, I sent witness statements and the former police report of Carmelo, and it's going to blow your mind. I want to see that. Dear white people, we got to do something. I'm willing to help, but something has to be done. This is only going to get worse. There will not be any reconciliation with black people. There won't be. There's no way you can reconcile with a group of people who don't know and refuse to know. There will be no reconciliation with them. I don't know what you all thought. I don't know what you all were thinking, but they're never going to come around, ever. It's never going to happen, because we already know that black people consume more media, more social media, more television, more entertainment. Black people consume more media across the board, more than any other demographic on the planet by 40%. Black people consume media across the board more than any other group in the planet by 40%. So that means that the average black person is getting their information from the media. The average black, which is why black folks had such a strong reaction towards the snake bite and towards the Peter pandemic. That's why you saw the black churches becoming sites for the shots, sites to get tested. That's why you still see black folks wearing a mask. Black people are heavily indoctrinated in the media propaganda and programming, heavily. And it doesn't matter whether they're what you think is a scholar or a hoodlum. It don't matter. They all consume that media. I forgot that one guy's name, but he read a stat and he said black people on average, once they graduate from college, read one book. I forgot this guy's name. He's the light-skinned guy with the gray hair. The guy talking about economics with the mustache. He said that black people only read one book post-college, and it's not the Bible. So 9 times out of 10, what they're reading is some bliggity black book, or they're reading some romance ratchet novel book. One of them two. Now, I forgot that guy's name, but he's light-skinned with the gray hair and the mustache. The silver hair, kind of silver hair and the mustache. So black people get their information from the media. So that means, dear white people, no matter what you come to talk with them about, they're not going to have any factual information on it. They're just not. There will never be a reconciliation, ever. Never.
Okay. All right. I want to start.
No, I'm not talking about Thomas Sowell or Dr. Claude Anderson. I know them. This guy has longer. This guy got that. He got that good hair. He light skinned with that good hair. You know, he look like one of them singers from the 50s. But you know him though. I can't think of the guy's name. But no, not Thomas Sowell and Claude Anderson. No. I know them.
Okay. All right. I want to start off this press conference to say something as a deep note that I can tell America. What we've seen at the beginning of this press conference, the father being at this press conference, these are my words, don't quote anybody, is a disrespect to the dignity of his son. Next Generation Action Network from the beginning has respected the loss of life. No matter our opinion of it, we have kept our opinion close. We have not attacked. We have not shared the information that was shared with us about Austin Metcalf, because we respect the dignity of life and loss. And as a minister, I would not attack a grieving family, even if I disagree with them. When I have stood before this podium for people who have died at the hands of law enforcement, I have asked for that same manner of respect. And even when the shoe is on the other foot, I will not do that. And all I'm going to say, so it don't be asked later, is that was disrespectful and just shows you all the character who is not invited. He knows that it's inappropriate to be near this family, but he did it. And so I say to people, actions speak louder than words. Okay?
So somebody said it. Thank you so much, Figgy. It is Dr. George Fraser. Thank you so much, Figgy. Somebody made a great statement. Cyber Dream said that Austin's father made it worse. See, what you have to understand, dear people, dear white people, is that when you concede to black people, this is what they do. So they're not gonna be honorable. I grew up in the black community for the majority of my life. They're not going to be honorable. They're going to lie. They're going to save face, because their goal is to either get back at white people or not look bad in front of white people. Those are their two motivating factors: getting revenge on white people or not looking bad in front of white people. Those are their motivations. So they're going to do anything they can to make sure those things happen. So that means lie, cheat, and steal. They're going to do it. Austin's father saying, and when he said it, I put my head down. I said, he said, this is not about race. When he said that, ushers, guard the door. Get those collection plates ready. When Austin Metcalf's father said that, the Bliggitties heard he's talking to white conservatives. I tried to tell somebody that the media, if the media says white teenager kills black teenager, no problem. But if the media says teenager killed and the identity isn't revealed, now we got a problem. Because you're only hiding the identity because the assailant is black. So what I'm saying is that when they don't mention race, they're still mentioning race. So when they say teen stabbed at track meet, that lets you know that the person that stabbed the teen was black. But then they'll say white teen stabs black teen with no problem. So the point I'm making is that the media made this about race. And his father, when he did not say that, the Bliggities think he's talking to conservative white people. I keep telling you all, it doesn't matter if you march with black people, if you give them money. It doesn't matter if you get them somewhere to stay. You can give them grants and scholarships. You can get them jobs, career. It does not matter. You can get them contract. It doesn't matter. They hate you. I just told you that black people consume more media than 40% of the planet. That means that the average black mind is programmed beyond recognition. Matter of fact, the only thing that can save the average black person is God, is Jesus. That's it. So, dear white people, unless you're going to come to them preaching God's words, that's it. Nothing else will get y'all on the right. Nothing. There will be no reconciliation between black people and white people. It does not matter. Even you white liberals, first chance these black folks get, they're going to knock y'all head off. First chance these black folks get to you white liberals, they're going to knock your purple dyed head off your shoulders. Austin Metcalf's father put the battery in these black people's back. And look how they treat him. This is why you cannot be a pleaser of men. You got to put God first. You don't go and speak to the media trying to appease anybody, trying to seem like you're the good person. You speak to the media, you tell them the truth. Because I would have said the media has made this about race, and it's not. The media has done that. And the media has a history of doing that. We've seen that, especially over the past 10 years. That's what I would have said. That would be cut through all the smoke and the fog. This ain't about the conservatives, the liberals. This is about the media. But when his dad just makes a blanket statement, it's not about race, and y'all making it about race on both sides. No, man, no. You got to attack the media. It's the media doing it. This guy's supposed to be a minister. He's supposed to be a minister. I have not heard God come out of his mouth once. There's nothing that he says that can make me believe that he's a godly man. Nothing.
Of this tragic incident, our family has been under attack. Whatever you think what happened between Carmelo and the Metcalf boys, my 3 younger children, my husband, and I didn't do anything to deserve to be threatened, harassed, and lied about. The lies and false accusations that have been said about us, especially over the past week, has been overwhelming. The lies in their...
And we got somebody on here, Big Braille, and that's a fitting name because he's blind. But Big Braille said right-wing conservatives made it about race first, and then their black right-wing sheep followed them. Again, If the media says teen stabs teen at track meet, that is mentioning race. It's not white conservatives' fault that you all are slow. It's not white conservatives' fault that you all don't get the nuance and thing. That's your fault. If Austin Metcalf had a stabbed Carmelo, the headline would have read, "White student stabs black student." But because he was black, it says student stabs student. Student stabbed at track meet. Race is left out of the equation. When you leave race out, you make it about race. It's not my fault that you all can't see that. It's not my fault that y'all don't see the nuance and what's going on. That's not my fault. That's not white conservatives' fault. That's your fault for getting your information from the media and being lazy. That's your fault. So I'm going to tell you again, Braille, blind as a bat. The reason why they came out and talked about race was because the media left the race out. This is a pattern that you will see. Anytime a black person does something wrong, the media does not mention their race. When a white person does something wrong, the media mentions their race. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. It's no deeper than that. So when you don't mention the race, it's obvious to those of us that have a brain. Ridiculous. So again, the media, right, combat medic, it would have said a white supremacist stabbed a black student. It's not my fault. He said, I voted for Trump, by the way. So what? You still lost in the sauce. You are still lost in the sauce. You voting for Trump means nothing to me because what you said was from a misinformed, uninformed bliggity. I'm trying to free your mind, Braille, Mr. Blind as a Bat. I'm trying to get you to see what's going on. The devil is playing a game on you. You are emotional. You have been programmed and conditioned to be emotional. These white conservatives know good and well when they don't mention this boy's race that he's black. So when you don't mention his race, you're mentioning his race. I voted for Trump, by the way. So what? So what? Now everybody see his mom, this boy's mom, play victim, which is what black folks do very well, is play victim. I told you all that black folks don't like to compete. Do you know how many white people? Let me let her talk.
In wake of this tragic incident, our family has been under attack. Whatever you think what happened between Carmelo and the Metcalf boys, my 3 younger children, my husband, and I didn't do anything to deserve to be threatened, harassed, and lied about. The lies and false accusations that have been said about us, especially over the past week, has been overwhelming. The lies and their amplification put my family in danger, as well as everyone in our community, everyone involved in the investigation, from the police, the attorneys, and the court staff. Our address and my husband's previous employer's address has been put on all social media platforms. My husband had to take a leave of absence because he's afraid what may happen to our family. His mental health is deteriorating day by day. We have endured death threats. My 13-year-old daughter is afraid to sleep in her own bedroom because she's fearful were used about the public donation to buy a home or anything else are completely false. We have not received a single dime from the Give, Send, Go fundraiser, and the co-founder has stated that clearly. In the reality, we were just notified yesterday that we could begin to withdraw funds. And it still takes several days to receive those funds once a request is made. I don't know why we are being targeted and discriminated against before a fair trial. Our son deserves the same rights under the law that everyone is afforded to. He's been raised in a two-parent home with structure, stability, love, and we put God first in everything that we do. We believe in the Constitution, we believe in the laws of this state, but those laws must apply to all of us, not just some of us. To be clear, we will not speak publicly about specific details of what happened under the tent on that rainy and awful day. There's an active investigation that everyone involved wants to be full and fair. We believe in the legal process, and that is where the truth will come out. To the family who experienced the loss, my heart truly goes out to you. To those who have supported my family, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We ask for your continued support, patience, and prayers as we navigate this difficult process. Thank you.
So now I can let my rant begin. I'm going to tell y'all this right now. How many white people's lives were ruined over these past 10 years because of a disagreement with black people? How many white people's lives were ruined over the past 10 years from just disagreeing with black people? How many white people lost their jobs? How many white people had to move? How many white people got attacked? How many white people had their lives ruined for just disagreeing with black people? No murder, nothing like that. Simply disagreeing and having their entire life shared on social media. How many? You can't even count. You can't even count the number. You can't even, how many women were called Karen for simply being concerned about their neighborhood? How many women had their lives ruined being called a Karen, got fired from their job, had their lives literally ruined, getting death threats on social media, their children getting, like, I don't think people realize the magnitude of what these white folks have gone through in this social media era dealing with these black folks. And this mother right here is lying. She's telling a bold-faced lie. This is what black people do. This is what communists do. They do an act to make you believe it's true. So in other words, I had to leave my house because I was getting death threats. It's a lie. Nobody is bothering them. Now, she said we didn't get funds from the GoFundMe, but you got funds from somewhere, though. Somebody's giving you money. That's a cop-out answer. We didn't get it from the GoFundMe. Somebody's giving you money, though. And then she just admitted, but we can get it. Well, we can get it now. We can get it as of yesterday. She's lying. She's not telling the truth. She's not telling the truth. The only person giving her death threats are a bunch of communists and Marxists and liberals. That's what they do. That's what they do. They're the ones that write the letters and put it in the mailbox and stage events. That's what liberals do. That's what communists do. They stage these things. Communists don't see lying as bad. Ain't nobody bothering these people. Nobody. Nobody is bothering her and her family. Nobody. Prove it. Prove what you're saying is true, and I guarantee every account that's threatening her family, I guarantee it's a bot account. I guarantee it's a fake account. I just saw a guy use the N-word on my page, in my Instagram page. I went to his page, and it's a fake page. This is what these people get paid to do. They get paid to make you believe that white people are the worst thing ever. That's what their job is. Ain't nobody bothering this boy or his family. Ain't nobody bothering them. Nobody. And I told you all, they're going to try to get this boy off. I told y'all that. They're going to try to get that boy off. So when they talk about we didn't get the GoFundMe money, you got the money though. Don't play semantics with me. Don't play semantics. You got the money though. Why we acting stupid? You got the money. You move into a house that costs $9,000 a month. You got the money. What are we talking about? You didn't move because of safety. Ain't nobody bothering y'all. I want her to prove it. Prove that somebody is harassing you. Prove that you're getting death threats. Prove it. Let's go through every account that's in a death threat, and I guarantee it's a fake account. I guarantee it. I guarantee it's a bunch of bots. I guarantee it. Black people lie. And I'm telling you now, they lie. I don't fall for none of these tricks. I done seen it all. The crying, the emotion, the white man, boogeyman is bad, the white concern. I don't fall for none of it. I've been doing this 5 years, and I've yet to see one thing that black folks were outraged about, and it was actually the truth. And it was, you know what's funny? The one case with Tamir Rice is actually the case that I say the police was wrong. But guess what? That's the case that got the least reaction from black people. The one Tamir Rice case is the case that got the least reaction from black people. You had a child, you had the police, you had everything at great, and black folks didn't want to touch it. Ain't that funny? You know why? Because they got to have the police doing that to the criminal element. They don't want no angels. Because see, when it's an angel, it unifies. When it's somebody innocent, it exposes white people for not being heartless. It's a tactic now. It's a cold tactic. If the person was truly innocent, they don't want to touch it. Because if they're truly innocent, they're going to see white folks going to be upset too. They always pick somebody with a sketchy past and sketchy behavior. They always. That way keep everything divided. But I want her mother. Tierra said Tamir Rice was wrong to me. Based on the video I saw, the police literally hopped out of the car and shot him. I mean, it wasn't even no kind of. I'm not saying the boy was in the right in what he was doing, running around with that little fake gun. I'm saying the way the police handled it, it was too fast. It was too fast. But my point is that case would spark outrage for everybody. That's why they don't touch it. But I want his mother and his father to prove what they're saying. Prove it. You know how much power black folks have to where they can just say something, you can't even question them? And y'all talk about white privilege? These black people could just tell y'all anything and you believe it. I don't. I know who they're working for. I know the intent behind all of this. I know. This is Satan at work. Satan is the father of lies. Satan is the father of lies. I want these folks to prove what they're saying. Prove to us that you had some legitimate threats, because a bunch of bot accounts ran by the left to make everybody think that y'all experiencing something to justify y'all getting all this money. I'm not going for it. She's lying. The minister is lying. The husband is lying. Everybody's lying. Ain't nobody bothering these folks. Nobody. Nobody's bothering these people. What she's describing is what liberals do. That's what communists do. That's what Marxists do. Have you all watched Chad and Chuck? Have you all listened to Chad and Chuck dissect this stuff for you? It's never what they show you, ever. It's never. Soon as she said we believe in the law and the Constitution, but it has to be equally applied, lets you know she doesn't believe in it. It is equally applied. So the fact that she said that lets you know that she doesn't really believe it. These are talking points they gave her. You got to try to appeal to conservatives. You got to appeal to both sides. I've been peeped. I've been peeped. Today's title is Please Do Something, a Plea to White America. You all have to push back against this. They're going to call you racist anyway. Listen, they're going to call me coon, sellout, bootlicker, Uncle Tom. It doesn't matter. They're going to say it anyway. Y'all could be perfect to black people and they still gonna call you racist. They still gonna say it. So you might as well embrace it. Like I do. They are going to call you racist. Now look at his dad. His dad has said, they made it, it's not about race. Stop making it about race. And look how he did the dad. There's no honor. There's no honor. I went and looked something up. I'm gonna show you right now why there's no honor. I'm gonna show you right now. The number of homicide victims in 2023. The total number of homicide victims in 2023 was 17,000. Hold on. 17,713. Who do you think had the most homicides in 2023? What group? Who do you think had the most homicides in 2023? Okay, thank you, Neek. The blacks. Okay. Now let's go to police shootings. Now, when we talk about police shootings, what you're going to find very difficult is the number of unarmed people shot by the police. So in 2023, there were 249 black people shot by the police. But the question is, how many of them were unarmed? If y'all don't get anything from me, get this one thing, that the devil is in the details. So it's not what they show you, it's what they don't show you. They're showing you the police shootings, but they're not showing you how many of them were armed. So you assumed, because the media is telling you that they're unarmed. But the vast majority of police shootings, the suspects are armed. So let's see if we can find it. I'm gonna go through these headlines for you. People shot to death by police. People shot to death by police. Number of people shot. Hold up. You're gonna be hard pressed trying to find unarmed shootings. They're gonna give you the numbers, but not unarmed. And so I want to give context to what I'm saying. That the majority of police shootings occur when the suspect is armed. The media is telling you that all these police shootings, the black people are unarmed, and it's not true. Black folks get shot by the police, and most of the time they got a weapon on them. Blanche, you should pull up the gun wall memorial. What's the gun wall memorial?
All right, so I created this graph for you guys so we can compare Black homicides by other Black people to unarmed Black people killed by the police. And the number for Black homicides that are killed by other Black people is 6810. And the number of unarmed Black people killed by the police is 13. You can barely see it on the graph. Now, the point of me making this post is to try to understand why would Black people as a whole care about this number right here when this number is so high, right? And you have people in the Democratic Party and that's on the left and these Black public figures that are telling you that we should be alarmed by this number, but really we should be trying to figure out why this is happening, okay? What changes need to be made so we can improve this number, because this number is taking us out at an alarming rate and it's us doing it to ourselves. So that makes it even worse, right? So my whole point of the video, like I said, is to understand why do we care so much about unarmed Black people. Now, I'm not saying that we should not care about them. I'm just saying this number right here is a little alarming. I'm just saying.
So she made a good point. And again, somebody had to do some advanced research on this graph to find an unarmed number, but let me bring her back. I'm sorry, let me bring her back.
All right, so I created this graph for you guys.
Let me bring her back. So basically, on this graph, there's 6,810 Black homicides in 2019, and there were 13 unarmed Black people killed by the police in 2019. So if you ask the average Black person, how many black folks get killed by the police, they're gonna tell you something like 10,000. They're gonna give you a ridiculous number. Black folks live in fantasy land. Black people live in a virtual pop-up book. They just, everything, page one's a pop-up, page two. So black folks don't, again, black people consume media more than 40% of the rest of the planet. I've talked about this often. How are you all stepping over all these dead bodies to focus on one person being shot by the police? If we go to this data, because I'm not going to use this show to search for unarmed, I'm going to give you the numbers they got right here. In 2023, there were 9,284 homicides in the black community. If I combine the homicides between white people and all the other races, black folks are still number one. So that means that black people are accounting for well over 50% of the homicides in the US. So think about this now. Think about all the homicides in the US, and 6% of the population, which is, I'm going to say black men do most of the killing, 6% is accounting for over 50% of the homicides. Now I'm going to go to the police shooting 2023. In 2023, 249 black people were shot by the police. Now we can be fair and give a fair assumption of how many of those black people were armed. Out of that 249, how many were armed? Even if I say it's half, even though it's more than half, but let's just say it's half. Let's just say 125 black people unarmed got killed by the police. That's across 50 states. Out of 40-something million black people, 125 got killed that was unarmed. But it doesn't mean they weren't committing a crime. It doesn't mean they weren't attacking police officers. It doesn't mean they weren't trying to attack somebody else. It doesn't mean that. It means they were unarmed. We will go with this narrative, though. So let's just say 125 are unarmed. Now let's go to the number of homicide victims. So we have 125 unarmed black folks killed by the police, but then we have 9,284 homicides committed in the black community. My question is, how many of those black people out of that 9,000 were unarmed? How many, give me a fair number. How many out of the 9,284 black people killed in 2023, how many of them were unarmed? Because we care about the folks being unarmed, being shot by the police. So how many black folks you think was unarmed being shot by another black person? K-Max said 25. Paul said 899. I would venture to say, Ms. Gray said 12. I would venture to say that out of those homicides, I'd venture to say that probably a third, they were unarmed. We got to account for people getting caught slipping. We got to account for innocent bystanders. We got to account for the babies. We got to account, like, if we account for, because you know they got the kill switch. So they just spraying, and y'all seen the video where they shoot. They be shooting like this. So we got to account for how many innocent people get shot and killed from this violence. And it's a lot. And the folks that get caught slipping, you know, walking to this side of town or hanging with this person or over this girl's house or all that. So my point is, black people aren't even concerned with the innocent black people being killed. Even if we say, okay, we're not going to talk about the black on black homicide. Black folks won't even talk about the innocent black people getting killed by this violence. And I said this before. Black people only care about black life when it's taken by a person that's not black. If you don't believe me, just look at the outrage when it's black on black violence. There's none. Black folks are more outraged that Carmelo Anthony got arrested than the black person being killed right now as we speak at this moment. And y'all do know that the second cause of death among black women ages 1 to 19 is homicide. Who do you think is killing them? The second leading cause of death for black women ages 1 through 19 is homicide. Who do you think is killing them? So the feminist groups ain't even outraged about that. And nobody thinks this stuff is, and listen, and people think that I don't care. People think I'm trying to appease white people. The stuff I talk about, the average white person doesn't even know. The stuff I talk about, the average white person does not know. Black people only care when a black life is taken by someone that's not black. That is the only time they care. That's it. This is why I said that there can never be any reconciliation. None. This stuff bothers me because I know that the innocent people suffer because they got to live around y'all. I remember being a kid just walking on and you just seeing crack pipes everywhere and syringes, and we're like, it's like it's normal. It's not normal. It's not normal seeing shootouts and fights, and every time there's something going on, it's always a shoot. It's not normal. I'll never forget one time my mother is a spot back home called Luigi's Pizza. And my mother was going there getting a pizza. And she left me in the car. And I saw a group of guys. There were some gang members, some Bloods. And they saw this guy. And whoever this guy was they saw, they was like, y'all, come over here. I don't know if dude owed them money. I don't know if it was a dope fiend. I don't know who this dude was. When I tell you, my mom came out and she was like, why is there blood on my car? That's how bad they was beating this dude. That my mom, you could visibly see blood on the side of her. They was beating this dude that bad. And I'm just looking at, I'm in the car window looking at this dude. They're beating I'm telling you, blood is spattering on the car. I might be 8 or 9 years old. There's no white people in sight. There's no white people in sight. In fact, when I go to school and see white people, they act normal. When I go to school and I'm around white people and white children, they are normal. What I see on TV with white people, I see it in real life. Am I saying white people are perfect? No. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is they're not demons and devils. And if they are, then so is everybody else. See, my point behind what I'm saying is that you all are no different. You all are accusing these people of doing what y'all are doing. Black people's number one excuse is, white people do it. Well, if white people do it and you do it too, that makes you no different. If you're doing what white people do, and you're only doing it because you say that white people are doing it, then that means you're actually worse than white people. That means you're worse. Because you're motivated by what they're doing. They don't act like y'all. Y'all try to act like them. The fake version of them. These black children are getting traumatized. Y'all won't believe what I've seen on these streets with these children. Seeing girls in the 6th grade, prostitutes, got their pimp's name tatted on their chest in the 6th grade. And when you go and talk to the parents, they don't care. If you really want to get down to it, you go and tell the parent your child's out here being a prostitute, and the parent get mad at you, even though the child's out there being a prostitute. Why is your daughter out at 10 o'clock at night, ma'am? Walking up and down the strip, ma'am? So again, black people are outraged by lies, because to be outraged about the truth requires self-reflection. You got to look inside to be outraged about the truth. Hold on, give me 1 second, y'all. Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm sorry, give me 1 second. I gotta go check on this food. I'm sorry. Cooking some food for work tomorrow. Give me 1 second, y'all. My bad, y'all. My bad, y'all. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, y'all. Sorry about that. Y'all gotta forgive me. Sorry about that. I had to make something for my job. I made three turkey meatloaves. And I had to taste I had to just taste and make sure it was ready, you know. It's pretty good though, man. I had one. I put that molasses, barbecue glaze on one. Put that ketchup on the other one, and then put that. I mixed up some sauces, and the third one's an experiment. That boy ain't no joke. I got you, a goddess. That boy ain't no joke. That boy ain't no joke. I got one barbecue, one ketchup, then I got one that's zesty. I got a zesty sauce on top. Pause. I got a zesty sauce on the meat. Pause. It was pretty good though, y'all. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna lie. It's pretty good. I ain't gonna lie. Anyway, let's get back to it. Let's get back to it. So I started back eating ground turkey because I wanted to get my, it's just hard building muscle without, some type of, lean protein. But anyway, yeah, so tomorrow at work, we're going to have folks are bringing all the sides tomorrow, It's hard. He says it's hard letting that ground beef go. But anyway, just put you got your seasons in there, and you put your lemon. Your bell peppers and your onions. You gotta when you're making it, you gotta put your bell peppers and onions in put them in the skillet. Cook them down a little bit. Season them, cook it down a little bit, and you add that to the meatloaf. Then you add your seasonings, add your egg, add your breadcrumbs, mix it all up, y'all know how to do it. I don't drink egg white. Should I? Ugh. Yeah, I use breadcrumbs. I did. Right. You got to put season every step of the way. It's pretty good, though. It's pretty good. What's 8K? 8K more to 2,000, 8,000 more to go. I don't get it. What'd you send the email to? Did you send the email to? I gotta check it when I get done. I gotta check it when, because I don't see it on this. Yeah, it's probably on my other email. I'll check it. I'll check it when I get done. I want to show you all something that I found on someone's page. Now I want to show you black people blaming white people for the family structure being destroyed, or the government, I should say, white people. Top Herc said, Blanche, you know how to cook. You ain't dated no big girls, have you? I haven't dated any big women. You know what, I haven't. I got a certain kind of stature I like in a woman. So, you know, I don't, you know, I have a type as far as stature wise in a woman. You know, I have a type in the stature. I'm not really into, you know, there's some good looking bigger women, but I know my type is a certain type of, you know, build. No, I haven't. I'm gonna say this. You know what I find? You know what I think likes me the most? Who likes me the most are, I would say, light skin. Yeah, light skin, slimmer girls probably like me the most. Light skin, taller, you know, not skinny, but slim to thick. That's what I see them usually is like what likes me the most. In my opinion, just me just thinking off the top of my head. It's not big women, it's not, you know. But I would say that, no, I ain't gonna say that, but I ain't gonna say that. But anyway, there's this video I saw, and it's a very telling video. And I thought it was very good. And I'm going to now listen, I'm not saying that other races of women, like other races, other women don't like me. I'm saying in my head, I'm thinking throughout my life, it's kind of weird. Like I noticed that like darker skinned girls like lighter skinned guys. And I don't, maybe darker skinned guys, lighter skinned girls, but I think opposites kind of attract though. Even it's like it's something that you find attractive is not probably necessarily what you are or used to. I don't know. But I've dated all types of women my whole life. As far as like skin color and size, and you know, I dated short, tall, thick, skinny, you know, all that. Dark, light, caramel, you know, everything. But this guy's name, his account is, I guess his logo was like Black Men United. That's his logo. He's a red pill content creator. It's called Accountable Commentary. And this may be his second page, but this is from his Accountable Commentary page. But I'm going to play this video for you all real quick. Hold on one second. Let me get the screen pulled up. You know what's crazy? When I saw this girl right here in this picture, on this video. I dated a girl that looked like her, but her wig wasn't pushed back that far, but she put you in the mind of her. This girl right here. She put you in the mind of her. She may have been a little bit cuter than her, but same, they could probably be like cousins or in the same family. But the other girl's eyes were a little more, you know, a little more sexy. But anyway, when I saw the video, I was like, damn, like a girl I used to date. She was cool too, though. She was real cool. Top Herc said, stop flexing. Nah, I ain't flexing. I'm like, I saw it. I want to say her name, but I can't. I remember one time, this girl looks like her. We was like, we hadn't talked in probably like, I don't know, some months or whatever. And dude called my phone from her number. Dude called. And he was like, yeah, you know, so-and-so. I was like, yeah. Psych Nail says she looks like you. People crazy, man. And I was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, that's my girl. I was like, okay, all right. And then like, he was like, yeah, y'all messing around. I was like, no, man, no. Anyway, we hung up, and then she ended up calling me and said, yeah, he went through my phone, called all these guys up. I was like, why are you dating him? And then she hung up on me. I'm like, why are you dating that dude? Click. Anyway, let's get into it.
Started since they like just throwing things up. We're gonna show where this all started at. Check this video out. I did this video about a year ago, right? Some of y'all remember this video. This was in 1978. Listen to what it's about to go down. Shout out to Black Man. What you're looking at is Keisha, and this is Keisha who from a special report in 1978 about poverty and welfare. Her name is Delilah Council. She's a research analyst for a company called Manpower. The company is still around today under MDRC as a non-for-profit organization today, right? But in this video, right, the question is, the reporter just asked her this question: who gets to decide if a woman goes out to work or not? Like, who gets to decide that? Meaning, yeah, the Becky that's asking her this is basically saying, do you think it's okay to make these decisions for you to go outside to work, right? Instead of the man being able to go outside to work and you stay home and raise the children. What do you think is a better situation? This is what this Becky is asking her. This is what this Becky is at. This Becky is saying, Becky is low-key saying, you're destroying your family. Watch this. Watch this. She asked the question. Now watch this.
The mother decides.
The mother decides, right.
Okay. And this program is an effort to persuade her to do just that, right? This program will have, this program will expose her to what her choices are. No, but you said it's to try and get her to do that. To try and get her to become employed before she's required to. Right. One of the things that this program will be doing will be changing the orientation that that is currently offered at the local WIN office. One of the sessions will be geared towards the children, and we'll speak about mother's going to work, what that will mean for you. It will mean that your mother's separated from you, but she'll be at work every day. The local WIN team here is very much in the process of designing that film to try to remove the shock from the child that the mother is out there, and she's going to be out there every day.
To try to convince the child that it's good for the child.
To try and remove the shock from.
Look, she don't like that. She don't like that. The Becky is saying, so you're basically trying to convince the child that this is good for them, even though it's bad.
So, ironically, this woman's name is Delilah, working with Manpower, and Manpower is still around today. It's a staffing agency, you know, for you to find employment. But the irony of this is a Black woman working for Manpower, trying to convince other Black women to go out into the workforce. Now, this sounds good on the surface. This does. But we see where this led to. So she said we want to make women aware of their choices. So we talked about for years that the government was doing this and doing that. But we see that this woman in 1978 is launching a huge initiative, Black woman, to get these women out into the workforce, even so much to the point where we have to get the children okay with it. So you heard what she said, we got to get the film together so they can sit there and play these films in front of these children to get their minds wrapped around their mother not being there with them all day. And she's talking about young children. She's talking about in their formative years. This is why she said it's going to be a shock to the child, because these are ages 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the formative years. Now, they told you it was the government, it was the white man, it was the Jews, it was all of this. But you see who it was. It was Delilah. The same one that took down Samson. Just tell me, Samson, what's your secret? How are you so strong? And Samson, being a dummy that he was, my strength is in my locks. Paul said latchkey kids. Exactly. I was a latchkey kid. I was a latchkey kid from the 6th grade. That was it. In the 6th grade, I was on my own. I was on my own. Let's continue.
She don't like that. She didn't look.
From the child that the mother will be out of the home so much.
What do you mean remove the shock?
If the mother goes to work and she has been a mother that has been at home with her children all the time, it's a crisis for a child when her mother leaves the home and goes to work. It's a role change for the mother. It's a role change for the child. And in order to try and reduce the trauma, if you will, that can occur from a mother leaving the home.
Why create the trauma in the first place?
Damn. Look. Boom. Why create the trauma in the first place? Don't talk to us about Black men not being there, Black men not doing that. You were independent. You wanted to go to work. You wanted to wear the trousers. And now, decades later, you're struggling. And you're blaming us? You were the ones who left productive. They left Black men. They left productive communities that Black men created. because they wanted to go to work.
So you heard the woman, the interviewer asked, she said, why create the trauma in the first place? If the mother going to work, you notice in this holy interview, she doesn't mention the men one time. She doesn't mention men one time. See, a person might think, well, she's talking about women that are taking care of kids on well. No. She's talking about any woman that's at home taking care of the children. It's not just women on welfare. It's wives too. It's girlfriends. It's common law related. Like it's women at home taking care of the children, period. We want them in the workforce. And they told you it was the government and it was this and it was the welfare and this. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. This woman said, I'm going to play it again. This woman said that it is going to traumatize the child if the mother goes to work. So we have to literally brainwash the child to take the mother going to work as not being trauma. Now, this is in 1978. So they got this woman out here calling the shots at Manpower in 1978. I thought America was racist. I thought it was racist.
This was in 1978. Listen to what it's about to go down.
Shout out to Black Man. What you're looking at is Keisha, and this is Keisha who from a special report in 1978 about poverty and welfare. Her name is Delilah Council. She's a research analyst for a company called Manpower. The company is still around today under MDRC as a non-for-profit organization today, right? But in this video, right, the question is, the reporter just asked her this question: who gets to decide if a woman goes out to work or not? Like, who gets to decide that? Meaning, yeah, the Becky that's asking her this is basically saying, do you think it's okay to make these decisions for you to go outside to work, right? Instead of the man being able to go outside to work and you stay home and raise the children. What do you think is a better situation? This
and see, that's the premise of this. This is why this is another reason why white people get attacked, because they get married. This is they'll attack marriage and they'll say that marriage is white. The man leading the household is whiteness. The man leading the house is white. The woman being submissive, staying at home, being domestic, those things are white. You notice that Black people have this huge pushback against the proper order of things: God, man, woman, child. They have a big pushback against that order. Black folks reject. You even hear Black men saying, "I want the woman to lead." So that order and that structure is seen as white. That's something that's demonized. That's why Black folks don't get married, because marriage is actually demonized. It's actually demonized through whiteness. Well, I mean, he called her Becky because he's silly. I mean, listen, he's still obligatory.
This is what this Becky is asking her. This is what this Becky is at. This Becky is saying, Becky is low-key saying, you're destroying your family. Watch this. Watch this. She asked the question. Now watch this.
The mother decides.
The mother decides, right.
Okay. And this program is an effort to persuade her to do just that, right?
This program will have, this program will expose her to what her choices are.
No, but you said it's to try and get her to do that.
To try and get her to
become employed before she's required to.
Right.
So what she's talking about is, again, after, this is very intentional. She's saying required to, like, after the child's formative years, then the mother can go to work. You know, after the child reaches a certain age, then she goes to work. And the woman asked her, well, who decides all this? She says the mother. So that means, again, they're not mentioning the father or the men. This is the mother's decision. So think about a woman in a household where you have a man, the children, the wife, and then she's making a decision going to affect the entire household. And then she says, I'm exposing her to her choices. And then the lady says, no, you said you're trying to get her to go out there and work. Yes, that is, you're trying to get the woman to leave the home and go out there and work because you already know it's going to cause friction in the house. They already know it's going to cause friction in the house if she's going to work and coming back to work tired and beat. I'm not going to cook. I've been working on, like, it's just a huge, y'all know. Y'all know.
One of the things that this program will be doing will be changing the orientation that that is currently offered at the local WIN office. One of the sessions will be geared towards the children and will speak about mother's going to work, what that will mean for you. It will mean that your mother's separated from you, but she'll be at work every day. The local WIN team here is very much in the process of designing that film to try to remove the shock from the child that the mother is out there and she's going to be out there every day.
So you heard what she said. They're trying to create a film or films to brainwash the children. This is communism. It's a very subtle form of communism. You convince the women to go out to work, but you know the children are going to be traumatized and the woman is not going to want to go out there and work if her children are traumatized. So what you do is you say, okay, we'll take care of the children. We're going to brainwash them to make them think this is okay. You go out there and work and get that money, girl. Now, they told you it was the government, told you the white folks, told you all this stuff, but you see this is a black woman named Delilah, one of the top positions at Manpower, trying to get black women and other women out of the home and into the workforce. She's not talking to welfare recipients. She's not talking to people on government assistance. She's talking to regular women. That's why she said the mother decides.
To try to convince the child that it's good for the child.
To try and remove the shock from...
Look, she don't like that. She don't like that. The Becky is saying, so you're basically trying to convince the child that this is good for them, even though it's bad. She don't like that. She didn't look.
From the child that the mother will be out of the home so much.
What do you mean remove the shock?
If the mother goes to work and she has been a mother that has been at home with her children all the time, it's a crisis for a child when her mother leaves the home and goes to work. It's a role change for the mother. It's a role change for the child. And in order to try and reduce the trauma, if you will, that can occur from a mother leaving the home.
Why create the trauma in the first place?
Damn.
Look,
Boom. Why create the trauma in the first place?
I thought this video was very telling because it peeks into what was actually happening to quote unquote get the man out of the household. These people already know that if the situation is set up where the man is the breadwinner and the woman decides that she wants to go back to school or go to work, it's going to disrupt the household. The reason why he's working the way he's working is so that she can be at home with the children. So then this woman comes along and says, no, you have other choices. And the woman goes, well, what about my children, though? Chad O. Jackson said, why does it have to be the whites who ask the sensible questions? Because no one else has the courage to. This woman's in an interview getting frustrated because she never gets pushback. It's 1978. She's not used to getting pushback on this because it sounds good on the surface. Or we're going to make sure the women get back into the workforce or get into the workforce. We're going to make sure women are able to earn their own money, earn a living. It sounds good on the surface. But then she admits it's going to traumatize the children. If the children are traumatized, then the mother is not going to want to go out and work. She's going to want to stay at home with the children. So they have to find a way to fix this. Okay, we're going to create films to brainwash the children. In this interview, she has not mentioned the man one time. It started out by saying it's the woman's choice. This is so subtle. This is so subtle. And the interview even says, you're trying to push her into the workforce before it's time. Meaning she's supposed to spend those first years with her child raising the child. Ages birth through, I don't know how long, but those formative years, she should be at home with the children. You're trying to get her to go into the workforce and skip the formative years. So if the mother isn't there for the formative years, then who is raising and nurturing the children? That's why I said it's communism. Think about it. Think about somebody on a loudspeaker saying, men will work, women will work, children will learn. Like, men will work, women will work, children will learn. Just so that just removes the bond between the child and the mother and the child. Because they want everybody to have their emotions and stuff focused on the state, focused on the government. They don't want y'all loving each other and, missing each other and wanting to nurture. And they don't want that. Well, no. No. They want that family household to be divided. Even if y'all live together, they want that family household to be divided by the state. Husband comes in and work, but he got no say so. He's just there to make sure the lights is on and make sure the, roof's over, the bills getting paid. That's it. The child, they now become pupils of the state. The woman, she's going there, she's earning a living. She's living her best life. Think about it. The husband got the bills. The child's with the state. Now she's independent, living her best life. And guess what? They're all still in the home. Chad O said the 60s was a reset and the 70s were the first decade of America 2.0. And we see this as 1978. And we see this was the America 2.0. And I keep telling y'all, black people are the people of influence. Black people are the people of influence. It's not a flex, though. It's a responsibility. They're going to use black people to push all of this stuff. If Delilah was Asian, wouldn't nobody listen to her. If she was white, they wouldn't listen to her. If she was Hispanic, they wouldn't listen. They are only going to receive this type of message, destroy your family, from a black woman. Because a black woman already has the face card. She already has the history. She already has the trauma. She already has the struggle. So she's already been vetted. The propaganda machine's already vetted the black woman. She's been vetted. She was a slave, remember? Jim Crow, segregation. She's already been vetted. They're not going to question a black woman saying it because they're going to say, if she's saying it, it has to be good. It's a cold game. Chaz said the 60s were a reset and the 70s were America 2.0. So look what happened in the 70s. The 70s was crazy. You know, I look at things from an art perspective. We had the blaxploitation films. We had the NBA. We had sports taking off. Think about it. Basketball, football, and baseball took off in the 70s. So we had blaxploitation films. We had sports take off. We had disco, funk, rock. We had like the 70s. Think about the fashion. Think about the icons that emerged from the 70s. Speaking about America being America 2.0, think about, I think the Vietnam War ended in the mid 70s maybe? Think about what was going on. Think about the TV shows. All the black shows on TV. Like, just think about the 70s. Reshaping America. Go back to the 70s, and that's where all the icons were made in the 70s. Think about everybody who was big in the 80s got started in the 70s. All the icons came out of the 70s. Yeah, the hippies was that too. But you think about the 70s, right? The 70s was after all of the rebellion, revolution stuff. Like the 70s, see, it was like the 70s was after all the movements. You had the hippie movement, you had the anti-war movement, you had the black liberation movement, you had all the movements was in the 60s. Everybody was bucking in the 60s. Then in the 70s came, and it was a whole different arena. Even the fashion had changed. Think about it. The afros, bell bottoms, even everything. And you think about the 70s, you saw, to me, the 70s and the 80s, or in the 70s, first you started seeing the integration of the partying. People, like all the races coming together partying. To me, that's why they killed disco, in my opinion. They got rid of disco because it was too much of a unifier. That's my opinion. Disco was too much of a unifier. It was bringing all races together. I saw a documentary on it, and they were talking about how everybody was partying in that disco era. Everybody together. Yeah, they was on that white horse. They were. They was on that white horse. Thank you, Cruise Missile. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Thank you, CC777. Thank you again, CC777. Thank you so much. And thank you again, CC777. Ashley, thank you so much. Ashley has 1 Corinthians 11. First Corinthians 11. 27 through 32. Wherefore, whosoever shall eat this bread and drink this cup of the Lord unworthily shall be guilty of the body and blood of the Lord. But let a man examine himself, and so let him eat of the bread, of that bread, and drink of that cup. For he that eateth and drinketh unworthily eateth and drinketh damnation to himself, not discerning the Lord's body. For this cause many are weak and sickly among you, and many sleep. For if we would judge ourselves, we should not be judged. But when we are judged, we are chastened of the Lord, that we should not be condemned with the world. Wherefore, my brethren, when ye come together to eat, tarry one for another. And if any man hunger, let him eat at home, that ye come not together unto condemnation. Let me read that again. Verse 34, last verse. And if any man hunger, let him eat at home, that ye may come not together unto condemnation. And the rest will I set in order when I come. So we have Easter coming up, and thank you, Ashley. We have Easter coming up, and this is symbolic of, I don't know the exact dates, but this is about, the resurrection of our Lord and Savior. Somebody said Jesus Yeshua Christ. It truly is a miracle story for us, that our Savior was able to conquer death. And so I want us to focus on, if we can, our Messiah. That's what it's really about. It's not about Easter Sunday. It's not about wearing your favorite clothes, your new outfit. It ain't about none of that. It's about truly embodying who Christ was, and us really being an example of Christ in the world. That's what we should be focused on, not just during Easter, but period. Now, folks gonna say, well, Easter bunnies are pagan and Easter eggs are pagan and all of this. Yeah, they might be pagan. However, the gist is still there. Any opportunity to follow Christ and model Christ, we should do it. So Christmas may be a pagan holiday. I don't know if it is. It may be. I don't know. But it's still a time for you to still be like Christ. Any holiday you can be like Christ. So even if the world gives you a holiday, you can still choose that time to celebrate Christ. So you can turn these holidays into the observance of Christ. Anyway, listen, y'all. Thank you, Agadas Navi, for moderating. Thank you so much. And yes, we have to get in the habit of taking God's word over our word and our thoughts. At the end of the day, we are required to trust in the Lord. That is our duty. We are to put our faith in God. So that means no matter what's going on in the world, we have to realize that God is still on the throne. We should not be worrying. We should not be vexed. We should not be stressed, because that is a sign of us not having any faith. The Bible, Christ says that my yoke is easy and my burden is light. We're supposed to cast our cares to the Lord. At the end of the day, what can we do anyway? If the world falls apart tomorrow, what are we going to do but trust God? So again, the constant theme is putting our faith and trust in Jesus. That's what we should be doing. We should also be praying for wisdom and understanding during these times. These people that are on these quote unquote experts, they don't know anything. They don't. If they knew something, then 2020 couldn't have happened. If these experts, because think about it, every expert got tested in 2020 with that Peter pandemic. All the experts were called to the table, and guess what? They all failed. The time for the experts to prove what they really knew and who they really were, all the experts failed. You know why? They don't know anything. You can't know anything without wisdom, without discernment, without understanding. You can't know anything. There's the world's wisdom, and then there's God's wisdom. There are two different wisdoms. There is man's way and there's God's way. The Bible says that there's a way unto man which seemeth right, but in the end are the ways of death. So every expert out there talking, at the end of their sentence, when they put that period on there, it's death. It's death. And when I say experts, I mean the approved experts. The approved. So again, we don't go to the experts, we go to the word. We put our faith and trust in the Lord. The Bible says the beginning of wisdom is fear of the Lord. Most of us are running around here and we are afraid at what the world is showing us. Not even what the world's even doing, what the world is showing us. They're showing us this stuff. And they're trying to get us to believe that they're God. No. We reject what the world is talking about. We're going to trust the Lord. Prudence said, I'm Team Jesus. Amen. One more scripture from Nikki. Proverbs. Proverbs 1:6. To understand a proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark sayings. Let me go to verse 5. A wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels. To understand a proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark sayings. Thank you, Nikki. Beautiful 2 verses. This is why wisdom is so important. This is why you got to be able to see something, see it, and see beyond what's being shown. They're showing you this, but really it's this. Everybody's saying it's this, but really it's this. You're going to seem crazy, but really it's this. The Bible talks about in the end times that if it were possible, even God's elect would be deceived. If it were possible, that means if you are not God's elect, you are going to be deceived. It says the deception will be so strong that it will have the power to deceive God's elect if it were possible to deceive them. So that means if you are not God's elect, you are going to be deceived. There's no question about it. How do we become God's elect? By putting our faith and trust and hope and dreams and life in Christ. That's how. Listen, y'all, I love y'all, and I will see you all on Saturday. Thank you all so much. Victor said, what are your thoughts on the 200 acres in Texas for a Muslim community? My thoughts are, this is what America wants. This is what they're going to get. I'm going to tell you this right now. Anybody coming to you talking about multiculturalism, inclusion, equality, diversity, equity, fair treatment of the law, all of those terms are Satan. They're Satan. You can't name me one quote unquote good agenda that has ended well. You can't name not a single one. There's not a one. All good agendas, abortion was supposed to be a good agenda. The research on climate change was supposed to be a good agenda. Civil rights was supposed to be a good agenda. Equality was supposed to be a good agenda. All these good agendas, somehow, some way, end in disaster. But they want you to trust the experts. No, I'm going to trust Jesus. Listen, I love y'all, and I will see you all on Saturday. Thank y'all.